I think I'm just so invested in the people around me that I'm the type of person that I want everybody to win. I want everybody around me to be able to make it to the top with me.
But everybody can't win, bro.
Everybody can't win. Everybody can't make it to the top. And like I said earlier, like I can only push you to be great, right?
Right. I can't make you be great.
So where do you, as a coach, as a mentor, as a friend, draw that line between doing what you can versus holding somebody's hand to get to where they need to be? Because I feel like I can't make you be great. I can only push you to be great if you want to be great.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So where do you draw that line between helping somebody who actually wants to learn versus someone who's not even trying at all?
Well, the descriptor you just said is someone who's actually wanting and trying to learn.
Right.
If they have that, at that point, it's leading them to water, and eventually they'll learn how to drink themselves.
Right.
But the latter, what you just said, is someone who's not willing to try at all. You can't help them because they're not willing to try. But if they already passed that base threshold of, okay, they're willing to try, then it's about how do you like push them without holding their hand?
Right.
How do you maximize their potential without just giving them a participation trophy for trying?
Right,
like where's the threshold of optimal trying, of optimal effort? I truly think there is an inherent discipline within the want that you don't have to push or water once the want is there.
Right.
So once you came in, once you blew up my phone multiple times, even if I didn't respond, if you blew up my phone, text me back, hey, are we for sure doing this? What's the word? Like I'm trying to get on the schedule. That effort, that interest, showing that you were really you were really wanting that change or wanting to facilitate the growth, that allows an inherent ability for me to water your effort into its maximum potential because the want was inherently there. So there isn't the threshold varies per individual.
Correct.
But the fact that the want is there, as soon as that's there, it's about pushing and testing their threshold of their maximal effort until you match it or push it each day, each week, each month. It depends on how you segment that growth. But in my opinion, it's each. I mean, you've experienced it with each session.
Right.
Think about day one when we're first learning how to throw a jab and a cross. Maybe I can't with everybody's first.
Everybody's different, right? On the first session,
different.
Yeah.
But for you, it's like the incremental development of your combat prowess, mainly in your boxing prowess right now, because we'll get to Muay Thai.
Yeah.
We'll get to them kicks. You can firsthand experience how each session there was exponential growth because of the work put in prior. So to answer your question, I'm able to push, or I draw the line based off of what they can give that day.
Okay, so to follow up on that, it's the want, but the lack of commitment that comes from people. I could hit your phone up all I want. I could say, hey, Mitch, let's get on this. Let's run a podcast. But if I never show up and if I never commit to you, how does that make you feel?
But that's, again, the want. I don't consider that a want if the commitment's not there because you didn't really want it, because you didn't commit to it. So it doesn't qualify as a want. You can say the word want, but it doesn't actually hold the weight that the word want or yearn actually does when you really want that change, when you really yearn for that change. So yeah, if the commitment's not there, the want's not technically there, so they fall into that category of not wanting it. I kind of answer your question?
No, that did answer my question. And it's just like, is it harder for you to see people who lack commitment especially when they're in your inner circle?
Yeah,
because I really think that people's lack of commitment is an insult to the people that believe in you.
Right. Yeah, but that's where it's an insult if we take it as one, though it's inconsiderate, it may not be insulting.
Okay.
Because that's where I really have to, for my own ego, get caught up in, especially like in the growing process from my immature adolescent mindset to a more mature adult mindset, was not taking things personally, even though the people closest to us that won't change and we're trying to help them change, them not changing isn't necessarily insulting to the advice or the wisdom we're trying to instill to them to implement or facilitate that change. It's just inconsiderate because they're literally not considering our wisdom or our insight or our advice. That makes sense?
Absolutely. And that's why I think really that real recognizes real, right? When every time I come in here, every time I see you, every time we run a podcast, you always tell me how much potential that you see in me and how much I can succeed if I really put myself into it, if I really want it bad enough. And so I really truly feel like only geniuses can see geniuses, right? If you have someone like Mitchell Thompson around you in your circle and you don't see any value of associating with him, doing boxing lessons with him, just even getting any insight from him, like what are you doing? That's how I feel when I view you. I see you as such a valuable person that anyone around you that's not taking advantage of that is missing out on a lot.
First of all, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
My bad, were you going to continue?
No, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I really do appreciate that. But it ties back full into, though, the people that are in my life that would take advantage of that. I don't take it as an insult because for me, it's like, bro, I would be wasting my time if you're inconsiderate as if you, the non-wanting side of you, the non-committal side of you was wasting my time. But at this point, I think you can even identify with the ability to qualify the time in which you spend on the people closest to you.
Absolutely. They say that you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with, right?
Do you know who says that? Dan Pena, this multi-billionaire. He's like 80. Yeah. But yeah. You can have loved ones in your family that you may not spend a lot of time with, but you love them dearly, and they may not be that close to you because, again, we talk about it all the time. In the Bible, there's a quote. I don't mind getting spiritual and biblical with stuff, but I think without even looking at it from a religious standpoint, if you look at it as a nearly poetic standpoint, you can get the wisdom from it without having to connotate religion with it.
Just the message, right?
Just the message, bro, right. But in the Bible, it says he is seen least as a prophet in his own home. And he being least as a prophet in his own home is just, it was when Jesus returned to Galilee, and in certain forms, in certain aspects of, I think it's just the Mark and Matthew, in the older forms of the Gospels, in 2 of the Gospels, Jesus actually had a family. His family, everybody in the town is pretty much like, oh, I heard you think you're like the son of God. I heard you've been telling people you're the son of God. Like, you're Jesus from our hometown. Like, you're not the son of God. And then in explicit doctrines and explicit texts that some Christian scholars would call pseudographia or apographia. I can't remember which, either Jewish scholars or Christian scholars call it one or the other. Apographia or pseudographia. Pseudo obviously means like fake, right? Apo means like alternative. So the Christians, I believe they do call it apo, and I think the Jewish tradition calls it pseudo. There's certain books like the Book of Enoch, the Book of Ruth, right? All these different books that they took out of the major canon, the major chronology, but they still consider them qualified doctrines of the Bible, right? There's certain pseudographic or apographic doctrines from the Bible that are associated with the Bible that talk about Jesus returning and his brothers and sisters literally saying, you're not the son of God. His brothers and sisters saying, you're not the son of God. We remember you when you were a kid as an imperfect adolescent. So Jesus' followers were like, bro, how you gonna let these dudes talk shit? Like, I know they're your family and all, but like, you're the son of God. Don't let them talk shit. And Jesus looked at him and said, chill the fuck out. I'm seen least as a prophet in my own home. Of course they're not going to see me as perfect. Of course they're not going to take my advice. Of course they're going to be more susceptible to the inconsideration of the wisdom I have to offer because they're too close to the message, essentially, or too close to the messenger to receive the message. So the inconsideration, truly, like, I don't take insult to it because the same worthiness that you even had in articulating those words, which again, I truly do appreciate, is because I hold myself to that standard,
right?
Which means I try to be that person that you could even articulate those words for and towards. And in doing so, I don't feel bad when people are inconsiderate of my words or my time or my effort because it identifies with me, oh, they're not even ready to receive this effort. So now it qualifies to me to not waste effort on them until they're willing to come back full circle and display that commitment. That kind of makes sense?
Absolutely, bro.
That kind of answer your
No,
I mean, it was like playing off of your
yeah.
beautiful statement, but
I think I'm just so invested in the people around me that I'm the type of person that I want everybody to win. I want everybody around me to be able to make it to the top with me.
but everybody can't win, bro.
Everybody can't win. Everybody can't make it to the top. And like I said earlier, like I can only push you to be great, right?
Right. I can't make you be great.
Let me reset these.